spots at the gas station at Six Flags over Georgia. The spirit of a young girl could be seen wandering and crying for her mommy. It is believed that she was lost from her family, and now her soul lingers, cursed to spend eternity searching for her parents. Today, guests report seeing a little 9-year-old girl that comes running up to them crying, "Mommy, Mommy, please help me find my mommy." The guests usually think this is a typical lost child. The guests agree to take the girl to find her mommy. They get no more than 10 yards when they notice the little girl has completely disappeared and is nowhere in sight. Some people claim to have actually gotten a photo of the little girl. If you happen to see her out in the park today, make sure to take her by lost parents to be reunited with her mommy once and for all. Angus Wynn Jr. opened Six Flags over Georgia in 1967, and the park's rich history is rife with the stories of the supernatural and paranormal. The ghosts of Six Flags over Georgia are fantastical and part of our legacy. Before we get started, make sure you secure all loose articles, and please make sure to keep your hands and arms inside the coaches, as that's something you're reaching for just might want you a little more than you want it. There is no smoking and no eating or drinking on this train either, so please abide accordingly. With a scream of our whistle, we'll be on our way. As we move along the tracks, you'll see on your left the Delonica Mine Train. The Delonica Mine Train can be eerie at night. It may appear to have a ghost or two, especially in the tunnel at the end of the ride. I guess you have to ride the Delonica Mine Train and see for yourselves. The current areas of Six Flags over Georgia, called Bugs Bunny Boomtown and DC Super Friends, have a haunted history too. If you look at a map of Six Flags over Georgia from 1967, you'll see a section of the park devoted to what was called the Horror Cave. Decapitated corpses, giant blood-sucking spiders, creature from the Black Lagoon clones, and other spooky creatures gave kids and adults nightmares until the Horror Cave was given a stick through the heart in 1985. Engine shed. You'll see the other engine that rides the rails here at Six Flags over Georgia. The Texas and the General, as the engines are called, are replicas of the locomotives that were involved in the Great Locomotive Chase of 1832 that took place in northern Georgia. If you listen close enough, you can almost hear the conductors and the engineers that were involved in the chase all those years ago. Exit the engine shed, look to your left, and up on top of the hill is the historic Riverview Carousel. The Riverview Carousel shares a haunted history all its own. Legend has it that one of the horses on the ride is possessed. This black horse does exude a morbid feel with its dark demeanor, and it is possible that this horse could be connected with a ghost or two from Riverview Carousel's past. According to legend, a young boy who was fond of the carousel was said to be seen playing near the ride in the years after his death. During the early morning hours and late at night, park workers claim to see a little boy riding a black horse on a carousel. Psychics have claimed to feel his presence, and guests have even seen him during regular park hours. This young boy is also associated with other supernatural occurrences at the carousel, including many rocking chairs that find the ride beginning to rock on their own when there are no winds or other factors to blame. Flickering lights, music turning on and off, and the ride beginning to move on its own for no apparent reason. All can be events linked to have ghosts lurking about. An old story goes that a child is often heard crying in the marsh area of the ride, but there is no one there. So, who is this child lost inside Monster Mansion? I guess you'll just have to ride and see for yourselves. If you do see this child as you travel through the marsh, let Marshal Billy Bob know and he'll look out for the little guy. The area of the park we are crossing into is currently Gotham City. Investigations of paranormal activity at Six Flags over Georgia have found that in the Gotham City section of the park, digital thermometers registered temperature drops of 30 degrees near the railroad trestle. Investigators found a newly cold spot near the Batman ride. Two members of the investigative team assigned to Fairman's Manor Haunted House recorded the voice of a little girl saying, and a woman voice uttering the name. As we pass the log flume on your right, some of you may remember a large brutish lumberjack who had a giant axe that swung down just as you were about to make your final descent. This giant Paul Bunyan lookalike gave many riders a great scare before the final drop. His final axe swing took place in 1976. If you look through the trees on your left, you will see the back area of one of the original landmarks of Six Flags over Georgia, the Crystal Pistol Music Hall. The Crystal Pistol has had many performers and actors perform on its stage throughout the years, but one actor in particular has a ghost story that is still told to this day. The story goes that back in 1967, when Six Flags over Georgia first opened, an actor by the name of Joe was the star of the opening number for the very first show at the Crystal Pistol. Due to unfortunate circumstances, Joe was killed in an automobile accident on his way to work. Apparently, Joe is still waiting to perform that number. Several sightings have occurred in the Crystal Pistol of a man who stands at the edge of the balcony and watches performances that are currently being put on. Performers claim to hear a man singing backstage even though there is nobody back there. It appears that Joe is still performing at the Crystal Pistol Music Hall, awaiting his moment of fame and glory. The ghost stories of Six Flags over Georgia could be just that. Stories. Or maybe there is some truth to these tales that have been passed down from generation to generation. After all, Six Flags over Georgia does have a storied history, and having ghosts around the park only adds to the lore of Six Flags over Georgia. I suppose we will never know for sure. Or will we? We've made it back to the Marthasville train station. Take the time to collect your belongings and please wait to exit the train until you hear the whistle from our engineer. We hope you've enjoyed hearing some stories of the ghost of Six Flags over Georgia and hope you're having fun and frightening the rest of your stay here at Six Flags over Georgia. Mind your step as you exit the train and watch out for ghosts.